If you're a Canadian senior receiving old age security, or you know someone who is, stop what you're doing right now because your July payment is going to be bigger than your June payment, and I want to make sure you know exactly how much more money is hitting your account and why. The Government of Canada has officially confirmed a 1.2% increase to all OAS benefits starting July 2026. That might sound like a small number, but when you factor in everything, your base pension, your GIS, the annual income recalculation, July is actually the biggest financial reset of the entire year for Canadian seniors. And here's what most people don't know. There are actually two separate things happening to your July payment. One affects everyone. The other one is personal to you, and it could make your July deposit much higher or lower than you expect. I'm going to walk you through all of it today. New amounts, new dates, GIS changes, claw-back thresholds, everything. Stay with me. This one is important. Why is OAS increasing in July? First, let's talk about why OAS is going up. Old age security is reviewed 4 times a year, every January, April, July, and October. Each review is tied to something called the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. That's Canada's official measure of how much the cost of living has gone up. Here's how the math works. Service Canada compares the average CPI from the most recent 3-month period to the last 3-month period that previously triggered an OAS increase. If prices have gone up, your OAS goes up by the same percentage. And here's the beautiful part. If prices somehow go down, your OAS stays the same. It can never decrease. That protection is built right into the Old Age Security Act. B-roll call-out graphic showing CPI comparison chart. For this July increase, the government compared the average CPI for November, December 2025 and January 2026, which came in at 165.1 against the last period that triggered a raise, August, September, and October 2025, which had an average CPI of 165.0. That small difference, 0.1 points, translates into a confirmed 1.2% upward adjustment to all OAS benefits for the July to September 2026 quarter. Now, to put that in context for the full year, OAS has increased 2.3% compared to July 2025. Earlier in 2026, the January increase was only 0.3%, and the April increase was just 0.1%. So July's 1.2% is by far the largest quarterly raise of the year. The new payment amounts. All right, let's talk real dollars and cents. For seniors aged 65 to 74, April to June 2026 maximum $743.05 per month. July to September 2026 maximum approximately $751.97 per month. That's an increase of roughly $8.92 per month for seniors aged 75 and over. April to June 2026 maximum $817.36 per month. July to September 2026 maximum approximately $827.17 per month. That's an increase of roughly $9.81 per month. Now I need to pause here and make something very clear. These are the maximum amounts. To receive the full maximum, you need to have lived in Canada for at least 40 years after the age of 18. If you have fewer years than that, say 30 years, you receive a partial pension, and the 1.2% increase still applies to your amount proportionally. Your increase is the same percentage, just on a smaller base. Also important, why do seniors 75 and over get more? Back in July 2022, the government permanently increased OAS by 10% for seniors aged 75 and older. That 10% bump was a one-time permanent change, and every quarterly increase since then has been calculated on top of that higher amount. So if you're 75 or older, you're benefiting from both that permanent boost and the quarterly CPI adjustments. One more thing on timing. The first payment at the new July rate will be deposited on July 29th, 2026. Your June 26th deposit was the last one at the old rate. So when you check your bank account at the end of this month, that's your last June payment. Wait for July 4th, and that's when you'll see the higher amount. GIS. The double change you need to understand. This is the section I want you to pay the most attention to, because this is where July gets complicated, and where most people are caught off guard. If you receive the Guaranteed Income Supplement, also called GIS, something different happens in July compared to every other quarter. In January, April, and October, your GIS just gets the standard CPI adjustment. That's it. But in July, 2 things happen at the same time. The 1.2% CPI increase applies to your GIS, same as your OAS pension. Service Canada completely recalculates your GIS entitlement based on your 2025 income tax return. Every July, the government runs your GIS through a fresh income test using the previous year's tax information. So your GIS payment from July 2026 through June 2027 is based on how much income you reported in 2025. What does this mean for you? If your 2025 income was lower than 2024, so that's maybe you stopped working part-time, took less from your RRIF, or had lower investment income, your July GIS could jump significantly higher than the standard 1.2% increase. Some seniors see much larger bumps. If your 2025 income was higher than 2024, perhaps you made a large RRSP or RRIF withdrawal, sold a property, or received a lump sum payment, your July GIS could be cut or in some cases eliminated entirely even though your OAS is going up. The two changes stack. You could have both happening at the same time, pulling in opposite directions. Here are the current maximum GIS amounts for the lowest income seniors, applying after the July adjustment. Single senior with no other income, up to $1,109.85 per month in GIS combined with the OAS pension. That means a total monthly deposit of approximately $1,852 to $1,875 per month for the most financially vulnerable single seniors in Canada. For couples, the allowance maximum rises to approximately $1,428 per month, and the allowance for the survivor rises to roughly $1,702 per month. One thing worth knowing, GIS is 100% tax-free. You do not declare it on your tax return. Your OAS pension is taxable income. GIS is not. Critical warning. Did you file your taxes? I need to give you a serious warning right here, because this could cost some people real money. If you receive GIS and you did not file your 2025 income tax return by April 30th, 2026 TIO, your GIS payments may be suspended starting in July until Service Canada receives and processes your income information. This is not optional, even if you have zero taxable income, even if you owe nothing, even if you've never owed $1 in taxes in your life. You must file your tax return every year to maintain continuous GIS eligibility. Service Canada needs that annual filing to recalculate your entitlement. Without it, they cannot verify your income and they will pause your payments. If you miss the April 30th deadline, don't panic, but act quickly. Contact Service Canada, file your return as soon as possible, and your payments should be restored retroactively once your information is processed. If you know a senior friend or family member who might have missed this, please share this video with them or give them a call. This is the kind of thing that can fall through the cracks, especially for seniors living alone. Section 5. The OAS clawback. Does it apply to you? Now let's talk about the OAS recovery tax, commonly called the clawback. This is something higher income seniors need to be aware of. If your net world income in 2026 exceeds certain thresholds, you may be required to repay a portion of your OAS pension. For 2026, here are the thresholds. Seniors age 65 to 74. The clawback range begins at $95,323 and ends at $154,753. Above $154,753, you repay your entire OAS pension, seniors age 75 and over. The upper threshold is $160,696. For every dollar of income above the lower threshold, you repay 15 cents of OAS. So if you're well above $95,323, you're losing a meaningful portion of your pension. Important note, your net world income includes your OAS pension itself, RRIF withdrawals, investment income, rental income, and income from foreign pensions. It's not just employment income. If you're near or above these thresholds, it's worth speaking with a tax professional or financial advisor about strategies like income splitting with a spouse or timing large RRIF withdrawals strategically. And here is some good news for higher income seniors. You have the option to voluntarily defer starting your OAS past age 65. For every month you delay, up to age 70, your monthly pension increases by 0.6%. Delay the full 5 years to age 70, and your OAS is permanently 36% higher for life. If you're still working at 65 and don't need the income, that might be worth considering. Section 6. Remaining 2026 payment dates. Let's quickly run through your remaining OAS payment dates for 2026, so you know exactly when to watch your bank account. July 4th. First payment at the new increased rate. August 27th, September 25th, October 28th. A new quarterly review happens here. The October amount could change again depending on CPI data from May to July 2026, November 26th, December 22nd. Final payment of 2026 CPP Canada Pension Plan pays on the same dates. However, your CPP amount does not change in July. CPP is indexed just once per year, every January. So July 4th, you'll see higher OAS, but your CPP stays the same until next January. Mark these dates in your calendar, especially July 4th. That's the one with the raise. Section 7. Partial pensions and eligibility basics. Let's quickly cover who qualifies and who gets what, because I get a lot of questions on this. To receive OAS, you must be 65 years of age or older and have lived in Canada for at least 10 years after turning 18. You do not need a work history or employment contributions. OAS is not like CPP. It's funded from general federal tax revenue and available to almost every Canadian senior who meets the residency requirement. 10 to 39 years of Canadian residence, you receive a partial pension, calculated as your years of residence divided by 40. 40 or more years of residence, you receive the full maximum, $751.97, or $827.17, depending on your age. If you lived and worked in another country that has a Social Security agreement with Canada, those years may count toward the 10-year minimum. Countries with these agreements include the United States, United Kingdom, Italy, the Philippines, and many others. Contact Service Canada for the full list. If you haven't yet applied for OAS and you're approaching 65 DAS, apply in advance. Service Canada will typically send you a letter, but if you don't receive one, you can apply online through My Service Canada account or by calling 1-800-277-9914. Quick action checklist for seniors. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with a quick checklist. Here are the 5 things you should do or check before July 4th. If you're 65, 74, expect approximately $751.97 maximum. If you're 75 plus, expect approximately $827.17 maximum. Remember, this is the maximum. Your actual amount may be lower based on your years of residence. If you receive GIS, expect your July payment to reflect both the 1.2% CPI increase and a recalculation based on your 2025 income. If your income changed significantly last year, your GIS amount could be quite different from what you've been receiving. You must have filed your 2025 return to maintain GIS eligibility. If you haven't, contact Service Canada and file immediately. The fastest and safest way to receive your OAS is by direct deposit. You can set this up through My Service Canada account online or by calling Service Canada. That is the first deposit at the new increased rate. That's everything you need to know about the OAS July 2026 increase. A 1.2% raise confirmed by the Government of Canada. New maximums of approximately $751.97 for seniors 65 to 74 and $827.17 for seniors 75 and over. A double change coming to GIS, and your first payment at the higher rate landing on July 4th. This information is based on official Government of Canada data as of late June 2026. For your specific payment amount, especially if you have a partial pension or are receiving GIS, I always recommend using the official OAS benefits estimator at canada.ca or contacting Service Canada directly at 1-800-277-9914. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other Canadian seniors find this information when they need it most. And if you know someone who might miss out on this increase because they didn't know about the tax filing requirement, please share this video with them right now. I'll be back with more updates on Canadian retirement benefits as new information comes in. Subscribe so you never miss one. Take care and enjoy that July 4th deposit. You've earned it.